Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge television, radio, and podcast talk show. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon at 1 p.m., and that's on the Central Time Zone. You can find us on television. That's Abundant Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast on thenewscasters.com. You can also find us on the radio, the biggest country station in South Carolina, and that's WZLA. And I just love this radio station. 92.3 on the dial. Make sure you listen to Benji and Lacey in the mornings. They are so funny. They're brother and sister, and they really, really hit on each other very hard. So make sure you go ahead and listen to them. They're a fun group, and I just love them. I have AP Steadham with me right now, and AP has been with us a really long time, many, many years, and he's our go-to guy for sports. AP, what's going on in the world of sports? I mean, we don't have anything to fuss about now with football, and so the emails are kind of dwindling just a little bit. But
right, yeah. We're ending the basketball season. You know, it's the last 4, 5, 6 games left in the regular season. Then you have the tournament for the SEC and all the other conferences around the country down, and there's 350 plus teams that play at this level of basketball, whereas football it's about 130 plus. So that's a big disparity in those numbers. But the SEC right now, Donna, as you look at the tournament, projected maybe 10 teams can have a chance to earn a berth, maybe 11 at this point. So they're in good standing as far as the postseason berths in the NCAA tournament, the round of 68. So that's looking good on the men's side, and the women's side, as always, they're strong, maybe 10, 11 teams as well. So what they did down this past weekend, they had what's called the NCAA reveal, and that's the selection committee projecting the top 16 teams. We know that 68 are have the chance to earn a berth, but they just look at the top 16. And in the top 16, they had Florida at a number 3 seed, and they also had Vanderbilt at a number 4 seed. Those are the only 2 teams from the SEC that were in the top 16. And they had Arkansas and Alabama were the first 2 teams outside of that 16. So that's pretty good. So that gives them, 4 teams, let's say, in the top 18 or 20 teams for the tournament. Of course, we know that there's a lot more to be selected. So that's how it stands. And so it's much like the NCAA football selection committee when they start mid-season or about then, where they're projecting the positions that will take everyone will have in the college football playoff. Same thing for the NCAA basketball tournament. They make those projections in advance. I think it's just to gather more interest. I mean, it doesn't need any more as far as the Final Four. That's a very popular event in America, across America. Everybody gets involved with picking teams, especially their own. But that's something that they do with the NCAA. And then the women did the same thing down. They had a reveal, but their reveal was on the 21st of February, and they'll have another one March 1st, I guess it is, but the men did theirs last weekend. But the women on the projection side, they had Texas at a 2 seed. Let me just start at number 1. Number 1 seed was South Carolina and Vanderbilt. Now that's significant to have Vanderbilt back up there at number 1. I don't know, they'd have number 1 seasons in the past. They did have some good teams years ago, but Shea Ralph, she's done quite a magnificent coaching job at Vanderbilt. So she's projected as a number 1 seed. South Carolina and Vanderbilt, Donna, from the SEC on the women's side. You would think it would be Texas maybe or LSU, but Texas and LSU are number 2s. And you have number 4 projection, Ole Miss and Oklahoma. And so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams on the women's side projected in the top 16. And on the men's side, it's 2, as we said.
Wow. Okay. So what's in the water at Vanderbilt? I'm seeing them emerge: football, basketball,
everything, right?
Everything.
Yeah. I mean, sweet music up there, sweet music in Vanderbilt. Yeah, their athletic director, Candace Story. She's a former basketball player at Vanderbilt. She's from North Alabama. I believe she went to Madison High School up there near Huntsville. And she's been the athletic director, so she's made some good hires and continued supporting their teams. And Donna, Vanderbilt's a school that has had money, but now with this NIL, name, image, and likeness, they're jumping in and spending money just like everyone else. And they seem to be smart and efficient with offering people and athletes, the right athletes, to compete in their sports and leading them to contending positions. So you have to be smart with your money, and Vanderbilt has certainly done that with their football program, their men's basketball program, and their women's basketball program. As you look, I mean, Vanderbilt is the only just this week, for instance, Vanderbilt on the men's and the women's side is the only SEC team that has both the men's and the women's in the top 16 reveal by the selection committees. Think about that. All these teams, 16 teams with big names, a lot of money. Vanderbilt is the only team in the men's and women's basketball that are in the top 16 reveal for the men and the women. That's quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, that is quite it. Let me ask you a question. So where does all this money come from?
It comes from boosters and alumni and fans, companies that are willing to sponsor athletes performing some type of service. So it comes from a multitude of entities.
Well, Coca-Cola is giving to all of them, and has
Probably
many decades as well. Chick-fil-A sends out a lot too. So.
Yes, yeah, Don. I was just thinking about something. It's been reported that LSU football it spent $40 million this year, I guess. Imagine you're at zero. How many years ago? 4 or 5 years ago, maybe 6. I can't remember when the NIL started exactly. I'm going to look that up, but you're at zero, and then all of a sudden, 2026, the upcoming season, you're at $40 million on one team. Think about it. And they're crying for money all the time. All these schools, SEC, we don't have any money. I'm thinking you're paying coordinators down at $2 million in football. $2 million for the coordinator. That's not even the head coach. So that's $4 million right there, let's say, approximately. But you're always crying for money. I don't think the math adds up, not in my mind, Donna.
No, it's not adding up in my mind either. I know they sell, sports memorabilia and all those things,
tickets and parking and the merchandise and the stadium, the food and everything. Chance to be on the field, to be in the locker. I mean, Donna, the day I paid to be in a locker room, I don't know. I think I might lose it. I don't see myself paying to be in a locker room.
I could care less.
Yeah, I don't see it. Yeah, I mean.
How much does that hamburger cost, though? How much does a hamburger cost if you buy one at the football game now? I
don't know how much they charge, but they charge for everything and anything at football games, basketball games, all the sporting events. It's in their interest to have all the sports do well because, Donna, even though, let's say you have women's softball, you could sell out all your games. You're still in the negative, but you're contributing to the bottom line. So it's still in your interest to have a good softball team.
So in your mind, who is the best sports cast coordinator out there?
The best athletic program that's organized. Is that what you mean, Donna? Yeah. Well, I mean, I think Vanderbilt has shot up in my mind because you're a contender in football. You're a contender in women's basketball, men's basketball, baseball. They do very well. So I think Vanderbilt, all around, they're outstanding right now.
Yeah.
I'm not saying there's other schools too that compete as well, but just looking at the men's and women's basketball, these two major winter sports, they're the only team in the top 16 so far projected.
Yeah, well, they need to be commended for that. There's something they're doing. They need to go out and give seminars to other people. And I think their students are reasonably happy there as well.
Oh, yeah. They've always had fairly good attendance at their basketball teams when they've been competitive. And it's a tough place to win up there because the coaching boxes were in opposite ends, Donna. They're not next to each other. They're in one's the far end, and then the other one is you're looking at each other from the far ends. It was a unique situation. I'm not sure where there was a coaching box dynamic like that in the country, where you're at one's at one end of the court and the other one's at the other, and you're facing each other. I'm not sure if I can recall a coaching box situation like that.
No, I never know that. That would be a little difficult for communication.
Yeah, the other team, every time you're on defense, let's say for a half, it's way down the other end. Or anytime you're on offense in the next half, it's way at the other end. You can't. They have to physically turn around. If you're the point guard, you can't see behind yourself. You have to look behind you before you go down the court and get some instructions, possibly, the play call.
And think about this: a lot of communication actually comes from your facial expression. Yes. Use it with your mom. Okay, you could always say something wrong just by the look on her face when you walked in the door. And so a lot of expression sometimes is lost when you can't really communicate with that expression on somebody's face.
Absolutely. Yeah, it sure is. So, but anyhow, but the SEC, like I said, men's and women's basketball, they've really promoted, especially on the men's side, for the last half a dozen years or so, to compete nationally. And it's very competitive around the country. So the SEC, I projected, if they can get one team in the Final Four right now, that would be a pretty successful year, I think, and make some strides within the tournament itself of getting a few teams to, let's say, the Final 8, or so many to the Sweet 16, a half a dozen to the Sweet 16. I mean, those are your measuring sticks in basketball, men's basketball and women's basketball as well. The women's side, I think too, the women should probably get 2 teams in the Final Four to be successful. I think just one, I don't think is not enough. I think 2, one is very good, but I think 2 would be something that's acceptable because you have so many teams that are ranked.
Yeah, but I'm thinking normally there are more teams within the SEC competing than now. I mean, it just seems like we dropped the ball somewhere.
Yeah, the men's basketball this year, Donna, they don't have a dominating team. Florida is the returning champion. They're, as I say, listed as number 3, a 3 seed, which means, that means you're in the top 12. Because there's 4 regions in the men's basketball, so they're one of the 3 seeds, one of the 4 number 3 seeds. So, but that's the highest one so far. Whereas last year they had a couple of teams that were higher seeds. But this year, at the moment, Florida's number 3 and Vanderbilt's a number 4 seed, which puts them in the top. Vanderbilt in the top 16 and Florida in the top 12. Let's say.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and cut to a commercial break. We're going to be right back in just a few minutes.
Queen City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for 2 or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
This is U.S. Senate candidate Don Brown. This race for the United States Senate in North Carolina is a race of we the people versus they the establishment. The Constitution's first three words are not we the establishment, but we the people. And because of our great grassroots conservatives in North Carolina, I'm pleased to say that we have the establishment candidate that's being rammed down our throats by big money, Mike Whatley. We've got him on the run. As a matter of fact, within the last few days, the Whatley campaign appears to have spent millions on television ads going into a primary race, and even has enlisted the AFP, which is an anti-Trump organization, to go knock on doors for him. Our Democrat opponent, Roy Cooper, has not having to do this. Why? Because Roy's got no competition. We're about to take Whatley out. I need everybody to keep it up. Please go to the polls if you haven't. And if you have gone to the polls, please encourage others to go as well. We will win this by force multiplication. Also, while we don't have to raise all the money that Whatley has raised, we got to raise enough to stay in a boxing ring. So please consider donating to our campaign. You can go to brown4nc.com and just hit the donate button. But above all else, get to the polls, get your friends and family members to the polls, and everyone you know, Don Brown for the United States Senate. This campaign will be a victory for we the people and a victory for the United States Constitution. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. We're back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge television, radio, and podcast talk show. Continue sending email, donna@donnasedge.com, donna@donnasedge.com. Okay. Yeah, we've had a lot to talk about as far as let's talk about what's going to happen March Madness. You have some
the March Madness, Donna. You know, the Final Four is in Indianapolis this year, so I'm looking forward to being there to cover that event. And of course, that's the location of the NCAA. So, and Donna, that's how they make their money. The NCAA, that's their biggest revenue generating event, is the men's Final Four. They own that tournament. They own the women's and several others. See, the college football playoff, that's outside their realm, the ownership portion. So this is very important to them to have the Final Four in Indianapolis. So that's going to be a big event for sure. But Donna, basketball is the type of game, and we always mention this, we preface our remarks, ball in the basket. It's one game. If you can make a lot of shots, you can beat a superior team. If they're a little bit cold that day, you're playing fairly well defensively, getting a few rebounds, but you're hitting a high percentage of your shots, you come home a winner against a team that you maybe be an underdog by 15 points. Could be something like that. Even bigger. Could be. So that's why basketball is such a delicate and fragile situation in this tournament, because it's one and done. You're really surviving. And I always describe the tournament, Donna, if you could win 2 games for 3 straight weekends, that's 6 games, you're the champion. You're the champion. So I think the smart coaches always approach it as a tournament that takes place on a weekend, and you have to win 2 games. And then you move on. So we're not worrying about any other thing, but we've got to win this one game ahead of us and the next one, just these 2 games this weekend. And then we move on to another site and have a chance to compete to reach the Final Four. And then when you're in the Final Four, I mean, it's thrilling. That's one of the best days in sports, that Saturday, Donna, when all Final Four teams are there and their fans are so excited and alumni It's a Saturday. It's a big day. It's in a dome situation. Usually they like it in these big domes where they can sell 50,000 tickets or more for 30, 40, 50,000 tickets. So that's one of the coolest days in sports. The Saturday Final Four. Monday's kind of an anticlimactic, Donna, because the other teams that have lost on Saturday, they're selling their tickets, some giving them away, and there's not as many people usually attending. But I think in the state of Indiana, being in Indianapolis, probably have extremely good attendance. I think probably. But March Madness, the basketball, it's that one afternoon, one evening. Can we make enough shots? Can we make our free throws at the end? Is critical. You want to make all your free throws, but at the end, it's so critical, Donna. Do you have good guard play, good point guard play, where they're not turning the ball over? Are you playing good defense? Are you able to match up with the other team? Sometimes, Donna, you play a team, you don't have enough height, so they're dominating in the paint, let's say, getting the ball inside, but maybe you have a hot night shooting from the three-point, you negate that. That's one way to negate somebody that's dominating. They're getting twos, but you're getting threes. So they might have a high percentage of twos, but if you have a high percentage of threes, you're going to win. So that's why basketball is so much fun and intriguing, and you just don't know what's going to happen game to game, even though there's some strong favorites entering the tournament. Sometimes they don't make it to the final eight, for instance. They can't even make it to the final eight. Never mind the final four. Yeah.
Okay, your opinion of the best coach out there in basketball?
Oh, yeah, basketball. Well, I think, Donna, let's look at the top five, for instance. Look at the top five in the Associated Press poll. This is week 16. You have Duke, number one, Arizona, Michigan, Iowa State, Houston. Calvin Sampson at Houston, he's a very good coach. His teams play very hard defensively, and they're always very difficult to beat, even when they're having a bad day, because they play such good defense and give themselves opportunities with extra shots because of their defense, and they rebound so well. They're always attacking the glass. So I think Calvin Sampson is one of the better coaches in America. I'd say Mark Few at Gonzaga. I mean, who would have thought, Donna, that a school in the Northwest, some people can't even pronounce it, would be winning for 20 plus years and having a chance to be in the tournament. I mean, I think they've been in the tournament now probably 20-something years in a row, probably. And he's had a chance to coach at any school in America, Donna, and he's turned them all down through the years. Mark Few, he's been a good coach up there at Gonzaga, been able to get the talent. And Donna, he does it with maybe not, let's say, 5-star talent. He's getting some players from across the ocean or different places, but he puts together a unit that's competitive and plays in that league out there, and then makes the tournament and has a strong run. Good coach. That Dusty May, Don, he's a coach to watch. He was at Florida Atlantic, I think, made the Final Four years ago, and Dusty May at Michigan. They're 25-2 right now, Don. I saw them playing the tournament in Las Vegas. They played 3 or 4 games. They beat everybody by a minimum of 30 points. They lost the other day to Duke in a tight ball game, and I forgot who else upset them. I think it was a team in the Big Ten that upset them, but Dusty May is a real good coach. The Arizona coach is good. Duke, obviously Duke. UConn, Danny Hurley. He's won a couple of titles there. Todd Golden for University of Florida won a title last year. Purdue's coach, Coach Painter, he's very good. So there's some good coaches out there, Donna. But like we say, in this era of athletics where you have the name, image, and likeness, may have a champion that's never won the tournament before. That could happen, like we did in football with Indiana.
Absolutely, it could. Let's talk a little bit about your show, AP As We See It, and what happened last week on your show?
Yeah, Donna, we had a lot of fun last week. We had Courtney Mims from the Fox 16 in Little Rock. She covers the University of Arkansas. She's a Florida graduate, very knowledgeable. So she came on. And we had Sarah Clark. She's with SECT, and she's also in Little Rock, but she covers the SEC. And they both have strong opinions. That's why I like to have them on my show. So we had both of those females on the show, both women. So it was a lot of fun. And then this week, Donna, we're going to try to look at for those Tennessee fans, I know a lot of Tennessee fans listen to the show. We're probably going to try to discuss the quarterback situation at Tennessee because their quarterback, Joey Aguilar, was trying to have another year of eligibility, and he didn't win in the court. So you're looking at a three-way competition. George McIntyre's a redshirt freshman, Faison Brandon's a 5-star freshman, and then Ryan Staub's a transfer from Colorado. So this would be 5 different quarterbacks, 5 different starters in 5 different years at Tennessee, Donna. That's very difficult to be successful, but Josh Heupel, he has some good season. We made the playoff, not last season, but the year before, but he's trying to get to that playoff level again. So, but the quarterback position is something that is in flux right now. And so those Tennessee folks, I know they're waiting until the coach makes that announcement, who's going to start the season, or if the coach uses more than one quarterback. I always say, Donna, they're all on scholarship. I'm putting any of them in. Yeah. I'm not holding back. Nobody owns the position. It's week to week. You have to be strong in practice and, of course, in the games, and you're all on scholarship, so be ready.
That's the way I look at that. Let everybody kind of work for it and fight for it.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. And then we're also going to discuss another quarterback, Sam Levitt, Donna. You maybe remember that name. He was at Arizona State. They were in the playoffs a couple years ago. This is his 3rd school. He was at Michigan State, did really well at Arizona State, led them to the playoffs a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. He is now going to be with Lane Kiffin at LSU. So I think they're paying him $4 million a year, Donna. Imagine that. Wow. From zero a few years ago to now you're paying the quarterback $4 million. One player, Donna, $4 million. How you like that? So that's the nature of athletics right now. Those who implement the rules and apply them the best will be successful. Those who complain and are trying to put the toothpaste back in the dispenser, they'll be obsolete. They'll be obsolete.
It ain't gonna happen. So let me ask you about this. Okay, prior season, let's just say football. Prior season, what happened? And I know people were belly aching about that, fussing and carrying on. But what is one good point that came out of that, of all the decisions, the new football? Yeah,
right, Donna. My position is, if I had a team that was maybe 7-5, 7-6, mm-hmm. and somebody said to me, "You will be able to improve your entire roster." I mean, pick any position. Pick any position. We can acquire talent to improve that position. I'd be thrilled. But Donna, people, when I ask them, how do you like college athletics? I don't. It's being ruined. I'm thinking, if you're a fan of a team that's been mediocre for years and years, and all of a sudden you have a chance to be a top elite team like Indiana, Vanderbilt, why would you say it's being ruined? You're the benefactor of this system. Okay, buy your ticket, show up to the game. Don't worry about those other things. You don't have to worry about it. If you don't want to donate money, that's fine. Somebody else will donate money because it's important for them for their university, their college, their school to be competitive on the highest level. Yeah, so that's what I don't understand about people that for years and years they're attending their games. They have barely a chance to win against mediocre teams. Now you have a chance to beat anybody. But you're complaining about the system, and it's like you're spending your own, like it's spending all your money. Well, don't worry about it. It's the athletic department's money from different donors and high-end donors and boosters and alumni, fans. You contribute on the level you think is good for you or not at all. But to be complaining about the system that gives them a chance, I don't understand it.
I don't get it either. Thank you, AP, so much for being on the show with us. I always appreciate it. And thank you guys for watching and for listening. We appreciate that too. Continue sending email to Donna at Donna'sEdge.com. We'll see you later.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer.
Yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.